here we go. My name is John Bernard Croak. I was born on May 18th, 1892 in Little Bay in the Dominion of Newfoundland. My parents, James and Cecilia, are Irish immigrants. I moved to New Aberdeen, Cape Breton when I was 4. My father was offered a job in the mines. It was too good to pass up. He was offered free passage over in a company house. We arrived in New Aberdeen in 1900, right in the middle of the industrial boom in Cape Breton. Our house has a beautiful view near West Street of green fields, and we could see the sun dance on the Atlantic Ocean for miles. That's only if the fog didn't roll in. My father spent most of his time under that ocean. He was a hard-working coal miner. The promise of an easier life was soon forgotten when he witnessed the harsh mining conditions. He'd only see the sun on Sundays, his day off. Mom was always busy around the house, taking care of my brothers and sisters, Pat, Maggie, Josephine, myself, Mary, and James. I went to New Aberdeen School and St. John's School growing up. I was an impulsive child, but was one of the lucky ones to stay in school until I was 14. Many of my friends had helped their fathers support their families at the age of 8, 9, and 10 years old. They were trapper boys in the mines. Dad worked 15-hour days in those mines and wouldn't get paid unless he brought up 15 tons of coal a day. I entered the mines at 14. I'd hear that whistle blow before sunrise and run to the number 2 colliery mines. I remember how proud my father was, and he taught me most of what I know about mining. It was dark, wet, and dangerous down there. We never knew if there might be an explosion or a fire. I enjoyed lunch the most, but I had to eat it quickly or the rats would steal it. But us miners would stick together and look out for each other. We needed to depend on our buddies to get us out if there was a fire. They treated the pit ponies better than they treated us. I finally got a chance to go to British Columbia when I was 19. I was always up for a new adventure and thought it was a good chance to see the country. I was a wheat farmer out there for a while, but I decided to make my way back home after a few years. It's on my way back home in August of 1915 that I enlisted in Sussex, New Brunswick with the 55th Battalion. When Mom found out, she was devastated. She didn't want her boy going off to war. I was 23 years old, single, and I had fire in my soul to see the world. After 3 months of basic training in Valcartier, Quebec, we were told we were heading to England. Some of the boys were nervous, but me, I was all fired up. It was October 30th, 1915, when we boarded the SS Corsican, all 1,099 of us and 42 officers. We left the port of Montreal the next day for England. It was cramped, but the cheers from the people waving and crying at the port fed my desire for something new. We sailed across the same ocean I would stare at and swim in as a boy. We arrived in Davenport, England on November 9th. Happy to put my feet on the ground, we boarded a train soon to Bramshot. Blame it on my Irish roots, but it was only 3 days later that I got myself in trouble. Yes, I'm impulsive, but I got my hands on some whiskey and landed myself 1 week detention for drunkenness. It was my first infraction, but it wouldn't be my last. A model soldier? I am not. They had trouble keeping me away from a good time. I wasn't one for rules, and when I saw the chance to break camp, I did. I was feisty. I was fearless. I had blue eyes, fair hair. I lost most of my pay to fines, but I did see a lot more of the countryside than most. We were transferred 6 months later after basic training to the 13th Battalion in France, a French unit that was part of the Royal Highlanders of Canada, the Black Watch. We arrived April 16th, 1916 at the Canadian Base Depot. It was just last week they asked me to draw up my will, the whole of my property and effects to my mother. We entered into the field the next month on May 7th, 1916. The unit was encamped in a position known as the Dominion Lines. We were busy doing route marches, gas helmet drills, company training, and sports. We spent most of our times in the front and support trenches. I spent 2 years as a private in those trenches, damp, cold, wet, and tired. I was excited when I was given 10 days leave to England. I bet they may have been frustrated with me not following commands and indulging in too much alcohol. But my most defining day wasn't until August 8th, 1918 in Hangard Woods. It was an hour before dawn, and it was rainy, foggy, and cloud covered the battlefield. We began our advance, the artillery started, and we couldn't see a thing through the thick smoke. The tanks were stopped in fear of running over the infantry ahead. The troops behind were forced to stop and wait. I continued on and turned around to notice I was not with my platoon. There I stood, east of Amiens, alone. It was there I unexpectedly found myself faced with a German machine gun nest. I started throwing grenades into it and without thinking attacked at bayonet point. I put their weapons out of action and took them prisoner. The shock on their faces showed why we were called the shock troopers. Adrenaline was pumping through my veins when I felt a bullet rip through my right arm. I was stunned briefly, but managed to meet up again with my unit ahead. The boys wanted me to get my wound dressed, but I was stubborn and I continued on. All of a sudden, we ran into another stronghold. I charged forward without hesitating and was the first to land on the German trench lines. After seeing my fearlessness, the rest of my unit followed. We fired bullets and hand grenades onto the German machine gun positions. I grabbed my bayonet and rooted out the enemy. I killed many of them. The ones I didn't kill, I captured. I was shot in the knee. The pain was immense. I knew I didn't have much time. The sun began to set, and I turned to my comrade and said, "Do you wish to show your gratitude? Kneel down and pray for my soul." These actions led to the breaching of the German lines. The German General Ludendorff described the day as a black day for the German army. The Canadians advanced 8 miles by nightfall, captured 8,000 prisoners, 161 guns, and countless ammunition. The cost was 4,000 casualties. It was the beginning of Canada's 100 days. I was awarded the Victoria Cross, the highest medal awarded while in His Majesty's service. Shortly after my death, my mother received a letter from my battalion chaplain. It read, "He was a splendid soldier, had done more than one brave deed in clearing out enemy machine gun nests. He could not have done more gallantly. I am stating the truth when I tell you that the battalion could not honor his actions more highly than is done. Death came to him quick, instantly, and he is buried here with his comrades near the place where he fell." So, I did give everyone some whiskey, and I just want everyone to please share a drink to celebrate John Bernard Croak's feisty and fearless spirit.
John Bernard Croak.
Cheers.
To John.
To John. To John.
Should have brought it.
That'll wake you up in the morning.